Sorry for the noise. Sometimes it just works out that way. In spite of our best ASMR-ish intentions. Sometimes the corn escapes the fence. Once upon a time, it was somebody's work to post this no loitering sign. Or perhaps we should say it was somebody's job. Then at some later point, it really was somebody's work to paint this graffiti. I don't imagine they got paid. The thing about this kind of work is that there's no way to tell how many views it's had. There's no way to tell how many likes it has gathered. They painted it and they left it be. It was never subjected to the algorithm. On a day like today, I find something comforting in that. The week started out so gangbusters. There were a lot of views. There were comments. There was even a 12th subscriber. The hours became earlier. The shadows correspondingly grew longer. We discovered the flood wall. In the midst of all that success, the views started to dip. And with them, my spirit too. But there's a lesson in it. I choose to put my shoes on. The world being what it is, the dips being what they are, I am scaling back today. I'm walking the first road up to the stove. And later I got plans. That'll be enough for this day. You hear that? They're with us. visiting from the far side of the flood wall, in spite of the noise. They give us their sound. They're leaping the wall. They're leaping the fence. Just like that corn did. All I really know for sure is that sometimes the corn grows through the fence. And that in addition, sometimes the little packets that issue Birdsong come over the flood wall. And that's a really good. I think the birds got it figured out. At least better than I do. I found a second way to drive in. McLaws Road, as opposed to going out and around on the 180. But it's still just driving. And then there's a clamber. And on the other side, it's clambering the flood wall. But in the previews of coming attractions, I did use that poured road to get very close. And I think the answer still lies that way. I can't imagine that it would be so much of a problem that one would have to post a sign. But what do I know? As a matter of fact, down at this crossroads we're going to investigate, I did long ago. Come across 2 live puppies that somebody had dumped. And I picked them up. Put them in this very red pearl and rode them into the shelter in Flagstaff. All right, the crossroads. This has nothing to do with hoofing. This way, east from here, is McLaws Road, which I just rode over for the first time in a long, long time. This used to be a road I would drive all the time. Today it's just the scenic route over to the sign that we're trying to track down, the close the gate one, the superior homemade sign to the one about dumping dead animals. But anyway, this Obed Road is the road that we're going to take. I hope that it is still a back way to I-40. It always was a rough little piece of road down at the end to get back onto I-40. But I don't care about the rough. I do hope it's still viable. The Dead Animal Road, West Camp Road, this runs up to 377. Don't think I've ever taken it all the way to 377 because the primitive road just didn't seem worth it. There's a nice paved one that doesn't take any longer to get over there toward the wind farms and whatnot. This extension of McLaws Road, hereinafter referred to as Territorial Road, this is maybe the most interesting one. So you can, and I have, used it to go all the way to Winslow. And you go over a wonderful little canyon that has water in it most of the year and pictographs before you get to Winslow. But right now, the thing about it that interests me the most is that according to my fancy new GPS, there is supposed to be a couple miles down there a primitive camping spot that, although without amenities, is supposed to be like legal BLM, Bureau of Land Management camping site. There weren't too many details about it. And I wish I had my GPS today because I'd go check it out as long as I'm out here, but I don't. So I'd be flying pretty blind, and that will have to be a separate trip. The main reason right now that I care about a campground close by is because I do want to get started on the tarp project, and I want a place to go that I can set up, maybe even stay a night or two to kind of work the kinks out of that. I'm not quite as concerned about heading down there and finding the camping spot because during my explorations of the last few days, it seems pretty apparent to me that there's a lot of unofficial camping spots that might serve the purpose, at least in the short term, day use, before I want to get into finding a place where I feel comfortable sleeping, camp sleeping. Anyway, not about hoofing. A historically and geographically significant crossroads with the bonus of that homemade sign. One-lane bridge. I've had this pet theory for a long time, which I would hate to see destroyed by facts, that this bridge is in fact much older than the bridge at Holbrook. I do know at one time all Holbrook had for getting across was a ferry. And based on that pet theory, I believe that the southern petrified forest and the south of Holbrook and coming over McLaws Road was the original configuration of Route 66. I'm sure somebody who cared about it more than I do would have no trouble in debunking the hell out of that. But until somebody takes the time to make that their work, for my part, I'm sticking to it. Apparently, my little ditch abides. So I'm thrilled about that. But I'm less thrilled about these flashing emergency lights and the chopper that is circling over my head. So I'm going to pass on this little bit and go back through Joe City. I'm running out of battery here at the end, but right quick, that's that truck stop that we kept seeing in the far distance from the flood wall. And I've done my best to get down in here, but I still don't think there's what I'd call a viable road. Obviously, the train is stopped on the tracks, but right over the top of it, you can see the tree line that represents the course of the Little Colorado, heading down that way. This nearer, stubbier tree line is the wash we were down in the other day, near which we found the close the gate sign. So there probably is there must be some kind of way to get over the track somehow and drive to the road where the close the gate sign was. But I don't know it. And I'm not sure I'm going to put too much more effort into it. We'll see. Topic for another show.